When it comes to hair loss, almost everyone gets it wrong initially, and it costs them dearly in terms of their hair. There are unfortunately so many wrong turns and dead ends when it comes to treating hair loss. So, in this video, I'm gonna share 5 things I wish I knew about hair loss. These 5 things would have saved me a lot of time and money, not to mention a lot of hair. So if you're looking to quickly fix and turn around your hair loss, this video is a must watch. It is far easier to preserve rather than regrow your hair. You could call this the first law of hair loss. It is infinitely harder to regrow what you've lost compared to keeping what you already have. This is nothing unique to hair loss. Most long-term health conditions follow this rule. Prevention is far easier and more effective than treatment. The takeaway is that the sooner you start treatment, the better you will fare in the long run. As a thought experiment, take the exact same person in 2 parallel universes. In universe 1, he starts a very mild, low-effort treatment at the first signs of hair loss, let's say when he's 22. In universe 2, he waits a further 10 years when he's already 32 and has progressed to a Norwood 4. He then goes all in with a stack that combines 4 or 5 different drugs and interventions plus a transplant. If you follow these 2 men into old age, the first man will always have better hair throughout. It actually won't even be close, and he will achieve this at a fraction of the time, effort, and money. Understanding this will influence how you want to approach your hair loss and how aggressive you want to go. We'll come back to this later on, but now let's move on to the second thing I wish I knew about hair loss. The number 1 obstacle to success is not low treatment effectiveness, but discontinuation. This is something that is lost on most guys when they start out. At the end of the day, it will make little difference if you go, for example, for a 2% or 5% minoxidil, or a 0.5 or 1 millimeter derma roller, or whether you buy a branded Propecia or a cheap generic. Even if any of these factors make a 5 or 10% difference, this often won't even be visible to the naked eye. Rather than worrying about the details, the first thing you should do is zoom out and focus on the big picture. And I'm gonna give you the big picture right now. Most men will abandon treating their hair loss altogether. At the end of the day, hair loss is a non-life-threatening condition, and we are naturally lazy animals. After 1 or 2 years, even the most enthusiastic guy will be cooled down about their hair. With some treatments, for example minoxidil, we have actual data on real-life users, and they are astonishing. At the 1-year mark, around 95% of minoxidil users would have stopped treatment. And at the end of year 2, this rises to 99%. And because results only last as long as the treatment, when you give up, any regrowth will disappear in a few months. Which brings us to our next point. Plan for the future, not the present. So the odds are stacked against you. I mean, I just want to be completely straight with you here. Especially if you don't do your homework. If you don't understand what you're up against and you don't plan accordingly, sadly for most guys who just start losing their hair, that's exactly what happens. They'll go to the family doctor or dermatologist and get prescribed minoxidil or finasteride. No explanation of what they're up against, no clear goal setting, no backup plan, no long-term vision, nothing. Here's your prescription and God bless. But planning for the future is critical because, as we've just seen, A, hair loss is a lifelong condition. B, results will only last as long as treatment. And C, the number 1 cause of failure is treatment discontinuation. If your time horizon is only 3 to 6 months, then that's probably how long you will last before packing it all in, at best. Rather than fantasizing about how amazing your hair will look in 6 months, think about where you want to be a decade or 2 from now. For example, let's say you're a Norwood 3 and you're not that bothered about your hair loss. In other words, your motivation is pretty low and your goal is just to keep a decent head of hair into old age. In this case, it would be extremely counterproductive to begin an aggressive, time-consuming stack. You'll just end up burning yourself out, and in a few months, you'll be saying, the hell with it. This isn't worth it. I'm just gonna shave it all off. By shifting your focus from short-term regrowth to a sustainable long-term plan, you will increase your chances and be well prepared for the inevitable challenges ahead. Monotherapies are hopelessly outmatched. If you're not just happy with what you have and you want to grow back a serious amount of hair, then you basically have to abandon the notion that you can use only 1 drug or treatment. In the years since minoxidil and finasteride appeared, we've had loads of studies showing that combining the 2 easily outperforms either on its own. but it goes far beyond minoxidil and finasteride. Since the turn of the century, we've had lots of new treatments. These range in complexity from non-drug interventions like scalp massage, PRP, low-level light therapy, and microneedling, to drugs like ketoconazole and dutasteride, all the way to natural compounds like caffeine, saw palmetto, and adenosine. For some reason, doctors and mainstream researchers are generally resistant to combination treatments. Your typical family doctor or dermatologist will usually prescribe minoxidil or finasteride monotherapy. They do this even with men who could benefit massively from combination treatments. For example, those who are young or have diffuse hair loss. But we know today for a fact that combination treatments will always outperform monotherapies. Furthermore, the more treatments you stack, the larger your gains. Scalp tension and blood flow matter. I mentioned this previously, but it's so important that it deserves a separate discussion. Regardless of what drugs or supplements you take, manual stimulation of the scalp is a low-cost, low-hanging fruit that will give you long-term, sustainable benefits. We know today, aside from visible hair loss, there are dramatic changes taking place in the scalp skin itself. The first one is a decrease in the supply of blood and consequently oxygen to the affected areas. The second is an accumulation of microscopic scar tissue in the area between the follicles, so-called fibrosis. And increasingly popular theories suggest that these changes are linked to a state of chronic tightness or tension of the scalp skin. I'm not going to go into detail here. We have covered this topic extensively in past videos. Suffice to say that manual stimulation of the scalp offers a low-cost, side effect-free to relax it. This, in turn, relieves the impaired blood flow and accumulated fibrosis that are preventing you from regrowing your hair. And the most straightforward way to do this is to massage your scalp with your hands. Massage for 10 minutes a day and you should see results after 4 to 6 months. If you don't know how to massage, you can check out some of the detailed videos we've posted in the past. Not only will you thicken your hair, you will literally be able to feel your skin become less stiff and you will relieve it of the chronic tension. This can serve as the foundation of your hair loss regimen, on top of which you can stack things like finasteride or minoxidil or microneedling. Now, going back to what we said about long-term thinking, the one major problem with using your hands is that it can get pretty boring fast. Meaning there is a good chance you're gonna give up and abandon treatment after a few months. Fortunately, there is another way. A device called the Grow Band that does all the work for you. Due to its design, the Grow Band will massage your entire head at once, meaning you can achieve the same results much faster. The Grow Band was designed by scientists and engineers from the University of Bristol and the University of Birmingham, two top-class research universities in the UK, and of course has undergone rigorous safety and efficiency testing before public launch. The newer version of the Grow Band Pro, is fully automated, which removes any effort on the part of the user. This makes it vastly more easy to use consistently. Stick to your treatment and reap the long-term benefits. I mean, you could relax at home and watch useful YouTube videos like this one, whilst, of course, getting a fully automated, hands-free, targeted scalp massage. Head over to hairguard.com to learn more and see results from other users who are using the Grow Band to get back their hair. But be sure to hurry up. The Grow Band has gained massive popularity in the hair loss community over the last year, and it's regularly sold out. All right, guys, that's it. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.